The verse that God said to Avimelech in his dream about return the woman to Abraham, the word Hoshev in that pasuk is the initial letters of the three concepts: mountain, field, and a house. Hoshev, Hey, Shin, and Beis.
When was it used, Hoshev?
God said to Avimelech, Hoshev, Eishes, or Ish. So Eishes, we just saw, is Hashem's Fosai Tiftach. And Hoshev, Hey, Shin, Beis, Har, Sodeh, Beis. זה רמז שתפילת הצדיק היא בשלימוס שמעלה אויסו מבחינת חר וסוד מבחינת בייס. This verse is an allusion to how the prayer of the tzaddik, which is perfect prayer, because he elevates prayer from being in the category of the mountain and the field to the category of the house. But those arrogant people are holding back God's desire. They don't ask the tzaddikim to pray for them. These arrogant people think that they've already been conducting their spiritual work. They have fasted, they have subjected themselves to all kinds of self-inflicted sigufim, afflictions, in order to elevate themselves spiritually. They think that they have attained the level of tzaddik. It's not so. All of those fasts that they have gone through, it's all like a piece of sackcloth that's full of holes. Even when you empty out the sack, it's still full of holes. And the body is called a sack. In the Gemara Shabbos, we have an expression that says loosen your sack, as if to say loosen your body. If they could really subject themselves to a true self-introspection, they would see after all their fast, there's still left all of their desires still attached to their sack, namely their body. And it's not only their own instinctive desires that are left attached to their body, but even the desire of their father, that remains in them from the time that they were born. Because their father himself did not sanctify himself at the time of the union, that's of the person's conception. Even this is also still attached to their bodies. If they could really see all this, they would be afflicted with very great trembling. They would see how they stand on this very lowly, minimal levels. So this connects with Jacob's words to his sons when his 10 sons had gone back down to Egypt looking for Joseph, and they came back to fetch Benjamin, and the verse says, when the 10 sons of Jacob were emptying their sacks, they found that the money was still wrapped up in their sack. What does this allude to? After all the fasts of these arrogant people, with which they wanted to empty the sack, namely the body, even so they see that each one had his money still bound up and attached to the sack. The person's money and his desires are all still attached to his sack and his body. The verse says they looked at the bundles of their money, they and their father. Not only each of their own individual collections of desires, but also that of their father. Even the father's desires also did not leave them. That is why they were afraid. Trembling took hold of them. Then when they realized that, they already knew that they didn't want to anymore try and rule and take control. So now Reb Nachman in the next section continues to darshan these verses speaking about Jacob and his children.
So the people that he's talking about, that no matter what they do, they still have these desires, the people that don't want you to go to the tzaddik, that they,
correct.
Okay. And these people that
could
they
be
want
very
you to come
great
to
people.
them,
These could be.
they want you to come to them.
Indeed, they want to rule over you. They want to be the leader. They want to be the spiritual guide.
False leader.
So these are the people who rise up against the true tzaddik, who is the very summit of humility. So this explains Jacob's words to his 10 sons when he says to them, Jacob, their father, said to them, "You have made me childless. Joseph is not here," and so the verse goes on. These verses are allusion to the reproof now of the intellect, the spiritual intellect, to these arrogant people. The seichel, the mind, now reproves these arrogant people who want to be grand. Yaakov is an allusion to the category of the divine intellect, and this is learned out from the Targum of Onkelos, the Aramaic Targum. When Esau complains about Jacob, he says, "Vayakveni," he's outwitted me. The Targum says, "V'chakmeni," he outwitted me with wisdom. So Esau is complaining about Jacob's wisdom, his seichel, his intellect, proving that Jacob is the embodiment of seichel. And the verse says,
how else would you outwit someone if not with your wisdom?
Well, it could be with low-down trickery, but Jacob did it with very high holy wisdom. So the verse says, "Vayom Elohem Yaakov Aviem," Jacob, their father, reproved them. Ki av b'chochma, the concept of father is someone who is a father in wisdom. So it is the divine intellect that is reproving these arrogant people through the words of Jacob, who says to his sons, "You have made me taken away my children." The reason this alludes to the fact that everybody who is arrogant, his wisdom leaves him. Jacob said to his sons, "Joseph is not, Yosef enenu." By saying Joseph is not here, Jacob was saying that you have not yet achieved the repair of that which got twisted by you. You have not yet succeeded in repairing that which is twisted. You have not repaired the thing that should cause you to be ashamed of it, and that is the repair of that which is twisted. The repair of that which is twisted is alluded to by the character of Joseph, because when Joseph was born, Rachel said, God has osaf elokim escher pasi. God has taken away my reproach, my shame. And so when Jacob said to his sons, Joseph is not here, this is the seichel, the divine intellect, reproving them, you've not achieved the removal of that which you should be ashamed of.
Wow.
Then Jacob continued, Shimon enenu, Shimon is not here. Remember, Joseph had detained Shimon in Egypt, so Jacob says to the sons who returned back to Israel, Shimon is not here.